never felt so different. I know she blows my mind.
I have Tim Godwin in the studio. Tim Godwin, welcome to Community Radio TLC FM in beautiful Yamba.
Thanks, Grahame. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Now, I think it would be safe to say that your music is quite different to what I've played so far this afternoon.
Well, it's funny you mentioned it was Peter Garrett's birthday. I was driving up to the interview up at this beautiful lighthouse, and I'm like, yeah, I can relate to Midnight Oil. It's like a beat we plays Power Under Passion, and he did. So it's not look, definitely an influence, but yeah, mine's probably a fair way away from Midnight Oil still.
But that's all right. See, we celebrate diversity at this radio station. Boy, do we celebrate diversity. How would you describe your music?
Yeah, look, I get asked that a bit. It's definitely a bit of a mash of genres. There's elements of indie rock, there's elements of sort of synth-based rock and grunge. Yeah, it's a bit hard, I suppose, to call it one genre, but somewhere between rock and alternative indie pop, I suppose.
I'm trying to think the last time I played grunge on this show. No, it's been a while, but that's okay. No.
When Kurt Cobain died, perhaps, back in 94 or 96, whenever it was.
No, I did say to Tim, when we were talking off air, I had a little listen to your music, I thought, ooh, it's a bit angsty. And I said to Tim, are you okay?
Yeah, well, man, I tell you what, COVID last year, I wasn't okay, and I don't think any artist in this country was, or anyone really. It was a bit of a rough time, but look, I've come out the end of it and managed to produce a record over the COVID time, which I'll put out later in the year. And it's funny that the song, I suppose, that precursed me coming up and doing the interview, Blows My Mind, which is an acoustic version of my band's track. It's a lot happier. It's actually a love track, and I shot the clip here in Yamba. I suppose that's why I'm here now. So
yes, now we will be listening to that a little bit later on, and I think I shared the film clip to my social media page earlier in the day, Captain Fantastic at TLC FM, if you haven't already had a look. Now, where was I? Oh yes, I was going to wear my mental health awareness shirt because I was so worried about him. But rest assured, listeners, he seems fine. I'm sure he's fine. Now, you mentioned your band, but actually, you do a whole stack of things, don't you? You don't just play with the band.
That's true, yeah. I'm pretty busy when it comes to music. I do have my band in Newtown, which is the Social Norm, and we're kind of having an unofficial hiatus at the moment. And the stuff we're playing today is the stuff I release as myself, which is Tim Godwin. But yeah, a lot of session drumming. So I play on a lot of different bands' records. There's Hornet, there's John Val, Faraway Towns, Simpsons Persist.
And you write as well.
Yeah, I definitely write. Yeah, co-wrote with a lot of these artists too. So yeah, I was just blessed and unlucky to have one of those minds that doesn't stop, I suppose.
You're one of these people who can do a bit of everything. I hate you. And a drummer. That'll spark the interest of Gary Nottingham. Gary Nottingham is one of our presenters. He does the Gravy Train on Tuesday afternoons. He's a drummer.
Nice one.
Yes, hopefully he's listening. Anyway, you'll catch up with him at some stage.
Cool.
And now I had to ask you, what brings you to beautiful Yamba?
Well, do you need a reason?
No, not really.
It's great I get to do the interview because it means that my holiday is tax-free. I should do it every time I come.
I love it. Why not?
I've been coming up here for a while now, usually in the summer, but you coerced me to, I needed to get away for a couple of days, and there was the opportunity to do the interview, and there was the opportunity to come to Yamba, so why not?
So I said, come on air at TLC FM, and Tim said, beauty, I will traverse the entire country for that opportunity. That's one I'm not passing up. And he's checked out the facilities here, and he's gone, oh wow, this is just amazing. And he's got cameras set up. So.
Dude, I've never done an interview in a lighthouse. That is 100% dope. I'm filming this for my socials, people. Man,
with so someone good. Called Captain Fantastic.
Yeah. I didn't know what to expect of the Captain Fantastic, but it's cool. It's all good.
It's all good. We're quite normal here, more or less. I think we should play some music. So tell the listener, whose name is Gladys, by the way.
Gladys, okay.
Tell Gladys all about this first track.
Well, I hope it's not Gladys Berkeley Valley, whatever her name is.
No.
Zoning in on me dodging tax by coming to Yamba for the radio. Look, I wrote it a little while ago. I moved back from Sydney and I've been quite nomadic for a while. And it was one of those songs that came quite naturally when I just sat down at the piano, and it just came, and it was kind of reflecting about...
He just dropped in that he plays the piano as well,
Oh,
Gladys.
dude. Not well. It's more like a synth. But anyway, so it's reflecting on sort of looking back on all those years and through rose-coloured glasses, I suppose, and trying to remember how you ended up back at home and thinking about all the good things, and, you know, but then you'd get to the point, it's like, oh, that's why we left, because this happened or whatever, and then we broke through it. And I suppose it was trying to come to terms with the fact that you can't be in more than one place at a time, if that makes sense, and missing everybody, and you can't do everything. You can do everything in life, but you can't do it all at the one time. And I suppose that was a bit of a learning curve, and I was feeling, you know, when you move home, it is a bit of a cop to your ego initially, and then once you settle in, it's actually quite comfortable. So
sometimes, I think what you're saying is sometimes you have to clear the decks. Which, does that relate to the title of the track?
Erase. Yeah, I suppose so.
There
Well,
you go.
it will
Wasn't
not
that a
erase.
clever segue.
It is a good segue, but I suppose it will not erase. It's more so the memories of people. But yeah, I am clearing the deck. So yeah, spot on.
Right, enough of this. How about we listen to the track, Tim?
Sounds good, man.
If I knew what I was looking for, then I stopped looking up. Maybe if I knew what I was looking for, then I stopped looking up. They
And that's Erase by Tim Godwin. Tim Godwin and band?
No, that was just me.
Very good.
Just me.
Now, I wanted to ask you, I've been chatting to a few musos over the last 6 to 8 months or so. How have you survived lockdown? And I've got different stories from different musos. One of them was an engineer and he just retired back to engineering. But now he's back to playing gigs at the Pacific. But
nice.
Anyway, and another guy told me that basically he just locked himself away on the farm and did writing. What have you been doing?
Well, yeah. Look, I'm like a lot of musos in this country as well. That has a day job, and that's nursing. So when poop hits the fan and everything goes down the washer for gigs, one thing that you're quite
go on. Tell Gladys what level of nursing you're qualified for.
I've done 3 specialities. I don't know Gladys' background, but I've done ICU, cardiology, and cardiac surgery, and ED.
God. Right, continue. Go on.
So I suppose one thing that's good in a pandemic is that obviously I was quite busy with nursing, but music-wise, I wasn't playing gigs, and I was quite flat because I was going to do about 30 dates last year, and I did one. I did a party before COVID happened, but I kept busy musically, recording and producing. I sessioned on probably 4 different records last year on drums, and then I did Digital Noise, which is going to come out later this year. I wrote that, and I've just finished recording that a couple of weeks ago. Shot some videos, including I think the next song, Split Hearts Man. We shot that, and it was funny because we shot that just before the main lockdown on COVID. It was happening on Monday, and we shot it on the Friday. So we had about 50 to 80 extras lined up, and then we ended up with 10 because they all freaked out like everyone did.
You should have just gone ahead that weekend. Scott Morrison went to the football that weekend, didn't he?
Well, look, we still shot it, but we just, like, what I'm getting at is we had less extras, but we still managed to pull it off, and it was a cool clip. And but yeah, long and the short, I didn't go broke because I was overworked in nursing, but yeah, it was pretty hard, man. It's when your release is your art and all the rest of it, and you put a lot of effort into it, and you can't do what you need to do musically. It was tough, man. And
your sort of music lends itself to gigs where, let's face it, the audience gets up and gets into it. And that really hasn't been... It's not the sort of stuff that you sort of, sit at a chair and just sort of sit still and nod your head to.
100%, mate. You need to be spilling beer over the person next to you, and you're in a dingy bar in Newtown, which it just was. And like those venues still aren't
Yamba.
really. Yeah, or Yamba, man. Look, I'm down. I'm down for coming up and playing the Pacific Hotel. I'll stay there. I can wake up with that view. I'm do it.
So I think your genre of music's probably one of the hardest ones hit. But it's amazing the creative things that people have managed to do during this period. You would have caught bits of The Sound, the program that ABC was showing, with bands playing live but in deserted venues.
Oh yeah.
And like some of it was just brilliant, really.
Yeah. Well, and look, we did, my band, The Social Norm, we did a couple of stream gigs as well, but it's not the same. Like, I think the thing about playing a gig is you make that intimate connection with your fans. And,
true, absolutely.
And also you flog merch and beer and all the rest of it, so it's not the same, but I mean, I kept busy, but it's like any massive big change and blow to the system, it knocks you around, man. It was, and look, there's one of my good mates, Russell, he does sort of A-list sound down in South Australia, so he does rigs the PA systems for big international touring acts. He still doesn't have work. Like, he's not going to have work until the international borders open up, because there's maybe 1 or 2 A-list bands in Australia, and they're not going to be touring anytime soon either. So,
and then we've just had that total disaster of the rug being pulled out from under the Blues Fest up at Byron Bay.
Yeah, I know.
Within hours of them being due to start, it was just...
Yeah, well, and I don't want to get into the politics of the vaccine rollout, especially if someone named Gladys is listening, but it's been a bit of a headache too. Like, it's anyway, I don't want to get into that because I'm a nurse and I might upset some people at health, so I'll just keep my mouth shut about that.
No, we're not going to talk about vaccines. Let's talk about this next track instead. It's called Hearts Man. What's it all about?
Yeah, so Hearts Man, I sat on this one for a while. It reflects predominantly on my time in cardiology, but also in critical care nursing in general, and I suppose I wanted to capture and bear with me, don't think I'm an arsehole when I say this, but the necessary apathy that you need to have when you work in critical care. And I mean that in purely an objective way.
I think I know what you mean. I wouldn't have used the word apathy, I don't think. You have to be slightly detached, emotionally detached.
That's probably
otherwise,
better.
you could not go in day after day if you weren't able to achieve some level of emotional detachment.
Well, that's right. That's probably a much more elegant way of saying it, that you don't give a about, you know, what happened. But I mean, obviously you do. You want good outcomes and all the rest of it, but the pressure of people critically ill is one thing, but then you've got the bureaucracy that surrounds it and all the rest of it. And I suppose that's where, at the end of the day, you're going to get an income so you can have a family, you can have a life outside of work. So at some point you need to take the scrubs off at the 12-hour shift and deal with it. And often you're put in a position to do things that you may not necessarily agree with, because life is such a variable thing, and different cultures and different people expect different things. Even with just white Anglo-Saxons from Australia, like, people have very different ideas about how critically ill and dying people should be sort of managed. So, and when you look at somewhere as multicultural as, say, the inner west of Sydney and Newcastle and Canberra, the places where I predominantly practiced critical care, it was, you know, you feel like you never get it right sometimes, but I suppose,
can relate to that as a retired school teacher.
Yeah, so look, I wanted to write a song that kind of reflected that, and I get a lot of flashbacks to particularly times in really intense moments in cardiac surgery where things probably didn't go so well, but it's okay. I am okay. As you asked me at the start of the shift, there's been some stuff I've been through, but I've come out the other end, so...
He seems normal to me, folks. He really does. I did check with him before I let him come in the studio. Are you an axe murderer? I said. He promised me he wasn't. And I had a bit of a look around. I can't see an axe or a machete or anything else lethal, so I think he's fine. But he clearly, music is like therapy for you, coping with these things. And probably better therapy than mine, which was hitting the bottle.
Oh, there's plenty of that too, mate. There's plenty of...
or coming home from work and just unloading big time on your partner.
Yeah. Well, try not to do that. I think, but look, anyway, that's why I wrote Hearts Mend.
Let's play some music.
And it's a bit angsty and it's a bit dark, but that's what the mood is. So.
Rightio, get ready for this angst. From the man who said it's angsty, let's see how angsty it is.
You've gotta break a few once a time.
Now, I don't know if Ian from San Francisco is listening this afternoon, but Jingo in Tokyo, Japan is. He messaged me earlier.
Okay, cool. I'd love to
Say hello to Jingo.
Hey, Chinko, how you going, bro? I'd love to come over and play in Japan when COVID goes away.
Yes. Now, you've made a film clip in Yamba, which I did post on social media, but tell Gladys all about it.
Well, Gladys and all the other people out in Radioland, yes, I did shoot a clip in Yamba. I was on holidays and I was enjoying the sunrise here. And I did actually try and get a couple to be in the track, but I suppose it was a bit of an ask to get up at first light in the middle of January when people are probably enjoying being hungover and not up. But yeah, I shot most of the A-roll was shot down near the beach pool down there, and it was awesome. There was dolphins, the light was really dope, and then...
When did you do this?
This was January this year.
Oh, January
so
this year.
So just
okay.
recently.
Yep.
Officially the track drops on next Friday, but the clip is around, it's floating around a bit, and it'll be on Spotify, Apple Music, all the rest of it. And long and short, it was a Social Norm track, which is my band in Newtown. It was more rock and grunge type based thing, and when I wrote it, I was actually on the train in Italy going from Rome to Florence, and it was after an argument with my partner, and it was, you know, one of those abroad arguments that you have because you're trying to work out how to do basic stuff in Italian and, you know, be confused, but obviously really happy and excited to be in.
You're probably trying to work out why is it in Italy you buy a train ticket and then you have to swipe it through another machine to validate it before you get on the train.
Yeah.
What is that all about?
I just love the other thing in Italy is that there's one line which is the cheap line, and then there's the Espresso or the Pronto line or something, which is you have to pay more, but it's a shorter line. There's no difference to the ticket. It's just that it's more expensive, hence the line is shorter. But anyway, I wanted to rewrite the song because I'd sat down at a guitar and it was like it came to me I could do it a bit more pretty and a bit more in the eyes of love rather than sort of grunge rock, which the way that's...
Now you're talking my language.
Yeah. Maybe I was feeling a bit old as well. I don't know. But look, I wanted to do it again, and I saw the opportunity to get into shooting a clip in Yamba because I love the beachside here, and I've been getting into shooting my own clips, and I did. I shot it all myself. So. And
the place is terribly photogenic. Now, I'm sorry to disappoint you if you thought you'd made the first film clip on Yamba Headland.
I probably haven't.
No, you haven't. Casey Barnes is sort of a country crossover artist. He did a really good one a few years ago, and various other people have used it. But you're more than welcome. But just don't encourage too many more people to come here.
Well, yeah, it's probably one thing, a solo operator with a little Lumix and a gimbal, but like if you had a full film crew here, it might ruin your headlamp, wouldn't it?
Well, no, I'm more worried about how many people are attracting to town. We don't want to become Byron Bay.
Well, that's it, yeah, that's right.
Anyway, now, we must tell Gladys how she can get hold of your music, or catch you live, even better.
Yeah, for sure. Well, live, it's a bit of a grey area still.
Problematic, Gladys. Stay in your chair, Gladys.
I have got a band together to do my solo stuff, so gigs are in the pipeline. Probably come July we'll start doing some support shows. But in the meantime, yeah, Spotify, Apple Music, you can purchase the music, which helps me a lot, directly off Bandcamp. That's the best thing you can do for me. And all the other streaming, there's so many. There's Google, Deezer, I don't know, Tidal, there's so many. It's in all the places you would expect to find digital music. And
Gladys should search on Tim Godwin Music, or...
There's a few Tim Godwins around. One's a dodgy police officer from London, so that's not me. And there's a really amazing session guitar player that's not me either. But Tim Godwin, and I suppose if you put any of the tracks that you hear tonight up, it'll come up into whatever streaming service that you use.
Yep.
Instagram, probably more active on Instagram, but I do Instagram and Facebook, and I'm feeling old, but I struggle a bit with Snapchat, but you can find...
You were all over Facebook this morning. I was sort of sitting there thinking, I should put some publicity for today's show on Facebook. Before I could do anything, you'd already done it.
Yeah. But yeah, proactive about it, I think. But yeah, but anyway, all the normal places you'd expect to find music digitally these days, and a lot of the indie record stores, well, in the inner west of Sydney, there's probably not a huge amount of listeners from here. listening at the moment, but that's mainly where like my band's vinyl and stuff is. But that's also available on my Bandcamp. Most of the work that I've done, I've got physical copies for, is all available on there too. So.
And regular listener Lee Chiplin has chimed in with, or link from the Captain Fantastic Facebook page. Yes,
hey.
We could do that. I could post some links to help Gladys find Tim's work. Thanks for that, Lee. That's my producer, my off-site producer, Lee Chiplin.
How you going, Lee?
She's at home doing the ironing, but she has a phone ready to tell me when I'm making stuff up or missing the bleeding obvious.
Someone there's looking out for you, man.
Absolutely. That's how we work here at TLC. We help each other. Thanks, Lee. Rightio. Now, should we go to this track, Tim? Have we covered everything?
I think so. I brought a few vinyl that you're going to give away.
Yes, the vinyl. Tell us about the vinyl.
Well, it's of my band, The Social. I didn't have any physical copies of my own stuff because I haven't toured, hence I haven't pressed anything. But I thought I'd bring a few copies of this. It's a 12-inch EP 45, so anyone that likes vinyl will understand what that means. It's usually nice and loud and sounds good.
There's quite a vinyl market going on in this neck of the woods, you know. When we have our markets down here, there's usually at least 2 stalls selling vinyl.
Nice. I do like vinyl. I get less time to listen to it these days, but I do love my vinyl. But I've given 3 copies to you guys, and you've got some... I don't know.
When the membership drive comes up, folks,
that's it.
And we would love you to come on board as members to support the station. We have little incentives for people. We've got a prize pool, and we have vouchers and things from various businesses. But Tim's record's going to be one of the incentives. You could win one of these. Fantastic. Hold it up to the microphone so Gladys can see it. That's it.
You can hear me now with it out held up to the microphone. Can you hear me now? You probably can't. There we go. So
there you go.
You can hear it being held up to the microphone, yeah?
When we have our membership drive, they'll be in the prize pool, folks, so you could win one of those, and that'd be fabulous to add to your record collection. Tim, thank you so much for coming into TLC. It's been a hoot. We always have fun up here.
No, thanks for having me. It's been dope. Captain Fantastic. No, there's a local band where I live, and they're called Captain Tragic. So
no.
I'm trying not to get the two confused, right?
Maybe I should have called myself that. I reckon there's some listeners who probably think that would have been more appropriate. Greg the Chippy probably thinks that. Especially, we're coming up to Eurovision time of year. Greg the Chippy will be thinking Captain Tragic is the run. Never mind, we'll take it out with this track. Blows my mind. If you check the film clip, I did share it to my Facebook page, but you'll find it elsewhere, and it was filmed in Yamba. Check it out. Blows my mind.
Shut down, never felt so different. I know she blows my mind. Round and round and round again, messing with my little lid. And I know that you're falling from me, and I don't wanna drop you. Round and round and round again, running round my little lid. So much hysteria, and I know that you're falling. Can I tell you a secret? about me. I know how you feel, 'cause I felt it before. Shut down, never felt so different, but I know she blows my mind. Round and round and round again, she's toiling with my little lead. And I know that you're falling from me, and I don't wanna drop you, yeah. Break a few hearts before you melt. You've gotta break a few once before